Ironically, I don't feel like I'm cognitively prepared for this. Hello everyone, I am Janell the SLP Peep, and you are at the SLP Peep channel. All throughout this month, we're going to be more focused on the medical side of things, which can be kind of scary because I don't work in the medical side of speech-language pathology. Yet, maybe ever, I don't know. For this video, we are mainly going to stick with cognition. For my last video, you could check it out here. I talked about screeners and a little bit of assessments and what their differences are, but mostly about screeners in general. Some of those screeners do check for cognition, which is fun and interesting and awesome, but also a little scary. Why do we check for cognition? Or better yet, when do we check for cognition? Anytime when there's a worry about the mental space, the intelligence, the capacity to do things mentally with a person, typically that's when people check for cognition. Some screeners that are given are meant for all ages. Some screeners are meant for younger kids. And if somebody has a medical issue, well, is there a way to still use a screener even though there's a medical issue? And what if they can't speak? For today's video, I'm mainly going to focus on one screener, the MoCA. The MoCA, or the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, is technically not an assessment, it's a screener, but whatever. So what the MoCA is, it's interesting. With cognition, there are different aspects to look into, such as attention, language, orientation, i.e. where you are to self, location, time, orientation. And even delayed recall, inferencing, you name it, there's just so much that goes on cognitively. And what this test does, they ask you to trace from a number to a letter to a number to a letter in order, draw a picture that's already on the screen, to draw a picture from memory, to label things, even state your name, where you're at, what, does it include why you're there? And also, when is it? As mentioned before, this is a screener, so this test is supposed to be given relatively quickly. In fact, how quickly is it supposed to be given? Well, if you have to spend more than 15 minutes on it, there's going to be an issue. Generally, screeners are supposed to be 5 minutes or less. Again, screeners are supposed to be quick. Now, as I mentioned before, what if a person can't talk? What if they can't move their hands? Well, there's ways around it, and there's ways to just say goodbye to a screener, let's check on other things. Let's say a person is not able to speak. Are they able to communicate in some other way? I once had a colleague of mine who worked more in the medical field. She had to ask yes/no questions where the patient had to look one way for yes, another way for no, in the middle for I don't know. Thankfully, cognition-wise, this client was still there because the client was able to answer so many different kinds of questions just by looking one way or the other. They were actually also able to do like a Likert scale, the scale that goes 1 to 5, by looking straight up, straight down, to the side, and the diagonal points, which is really smart. Now, with all this being said about cognition, why is it so important to have memory, language, problem solving, knowing where you are? And as I am saying this, it sounds funny that I'm saying this out loud. So why is cognition so important? I honestly cannot get over that I can say a question like that. Imagine that your memory is so not there that you forget why you're in the hospital. Imagine you don't know who you are anymore and you think you're someone completely different, or you don't know anymore. Imagine that you think it is 20 years ago. I have to remind myself this, 20 years ago is not the 1990s. It's not the 1980s. Let's say you have all of that. Okay, it's fine, no problem, whatever. Problem solving, inferencing. If a person says they are from Chicago and a secondary person comes in asking what state are you from, Or what state are they from, really? Would you be able to pick up Illinois? For my Canadian friends, if somebody said that they're from Edmonton and then they left and someone came in saying, where was that person from? Would you be able to say Alberta? But that's inferencing. But what about problem solving? There are times when cognition needs so much help that simple problem solving is not there. What do I mean by problem solving? Well, it could be something as simple as playing a game of tic-tac-toe, or playing a game of memory, or how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? How do you enter a PIN for your debit card to get cash out? Do you remember the pattern for your lock screen on your phone? All of these things are problem solving. They're basic problem solving, but problem solving nonetheless. And these things fall under cognition. All these things that I'm mentioning about problem solving, getting in your phone, making food, playing games, these are activities of daily living. And when there is a problem with cognition, there will be problems with performing activities of daily living. That is why identifying cognition deficits, working on cognition deficits, having functional therapy activities is so important. It is to work on activities of daily living so a person could be more independent. Sometimes a person is able to eventually be 100% independent, or they may know when they need help for assistance. I believe this is a really short video, but I hope this understands a little bit more about cognition, why we work on cognition, and the importance of it. I hope everyone had a great day today learning something new. If you have any questions, please post them down below. For the question of the day, what surprised you about cognition in everyday life? Personally, when I was just learning about this in grad school and undergrad, I was shocked that so much was heavily dependent on communication. Let me know what your answer is down below. I hope you have a terrific day. If you would like to learn more content like this, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, bye-bye.